Good morning, this is Nemir. Now this is going to be a video about the way we experience ourselves and what is reality. So it's, a big topic, a huge topic, but it is very important because the understanding of who we are and what is reality is hugely affects the way we behave, the way we interact with others, and the way we react and feel about ourselves. Now we live, most of us today in the modern world, in what we call a materialistic worldview. That the world is made up of atoms in a kind of empty or neutral space, and they have come together by chance, mutation, to create the world that we have now through evolution and just random interactions over billions of years. So it is this chance mutation, just blind changes that is behind the human being and what has created the human being. And the human being itself is an evolved sort of ape, that evolved through that same process, a consciousness which is different to that of animals. And then the human being within that is an isolated bit that interacts with other isolated bits, and the space between them is basically non-living, and matter is basically non-living. Therefore, each of us is at the mercy of some pretty big uncaring forces in the world. You have to protect yourself, and you have to do what you can to ensure your own survival. This is pretty much the dogma that is accepted, behind everything that we do, and has led to what we can see in this century and in the last century. One, the horrific inability to have compassion, the wars, the dropping of nuclear bombs, the massive slaughtering of other human beings, the retreat into tribal and me first mentality, and then the treating of nature as if it was just something dead that has got nothing to do with us, and nature means the planet. And the third one would be the huge inequalities, the inability to help fellow human beings and ensure that life on this earth is a good one for everybody. Because we are each, as it were, buttoned into this idea that we are separate people, separate individuals, and what counts is what's good for me and what I consider to be good. So within that we have consumerism, materialism, the entertainment industry, and so on. I'm not saying there's all bad, but I am focusing on the bad. There are good things, but if we want to change, many things like how we react at work and how we react with our family, what we consider the other person to be, then we have to go a little bit further. We have to keep improving. This video is about evolving humans' understanding of who they are, and it is based on a science, the science of inquiry, both internally and externally, as to what really happens, when we look at the world. So bear with me first here. The first thing is if we look at the world and the information that comes to us from the world out there that we, believe exists independently of us. Let's take the light of the sun. Now, from the physics, we know, that light is a frequency of the electromagnetic spectrum. It is our eye which is tuned to a certain way to receive and capture a very fine part of the electromagnetic spectrum that is no different from other, like infrared or ultraviolet. It's just that we're not tuned in with our senses to see that. So the whole visual world that we see is just a very tiny part of what is the radiation energy that comes out, for example, from the sun. Not only that, the physicists will tell you that energy is in itself completely dark. What happens? The energy moves through space, enters into our eye, and that energy then stimulates nerves in our cells, which send an electrochemical impulse, like information through a wire, to a point in our brain where somehow the experience of light occurs. And that is, obviously, if you open the brain, it's completely black. But we see light. We have that great feeling, seeing of brightness. However, the existence of that light is only in our mind and in the mind of other people, because of the nature of our eyes that see only certain frequencies of light, and how we manage to interpret that electrochemical signal. So the world is completely dark, but we create the light in our minds. It is imagination. You go through this and see if I've got it wrong, please. And that also goes for sound. What is sound? It is air waves, which then vibrate the eardrum, which then creates an electrochemical signal, which then somehow inside we create sound. What we experience is sound, is the humans, what we are tuned in of energy vibration, and we experience it, what we call sound. But it is not out there. The whole universe is completely dark, completely silent. Touch, everything. So there is this play, this huge performance which goes on, which projects out in the same way as a video camera, shows you an image on the screen of something you believe is outside, or you watching this screen right now. It's all a flat screen, but you can see depth, me, and everything. You believe you're looking at me, but it's just pixels playing. So these pixels of consciousness play on the screen of our mind. That's all of reality or life. That is all life will ever be. A play in consciousness. Now, so far, this is what material science will actually say. Yeah, this is it. This is what the physicists will say. The brain creates this play, firing the neurons. It creates consciousness. But if we go a little bit more careful, this is the second point, and we look at the human body. We look at the color of the skin. Well, how do we know it's that color? We know it's that color in the same way we know the sun is bright or yellow. We create an image of it in our mind based upon information from our eyes. And that's how we can see our body in space. It is captured, transformed, and presented. But how do we know it's solid? And go back to the physics and say, what is solid matter? The physicists will tell you there is no solid matter. They agree. There is not even any solid matter, it's just empty space. Touch. Is touch really occurring in your skin? No. It is conducted up through your nerve, and the experience of touch is created in your mind. A step further now, about neurons. We all know we have a brain. How do we know we have a brain? Because an anatomist originally cut open the brain, the body, and can see the brain that has got grey matter, white matter. They formed an image in their mind based on their perception of the body, which was also an image in their mind. And they traced that up and dissected it till you get nerves. Nerve is just like that tree out there, but we know all that tree is a play of consciousness based on the senses that we have in our body. But our body is like the tree. So the senses are also a play in consciousness. Try to follow me on this. So that even our neurons, everything that we call outer reality, is a play in consciousness. There is no outer reality. There's just a performance of consciousness and a directing will. So this is actually, when you really look at what it means to be a human being, or to be conscious, it means to be conscious, and you start to, wow, how is this possible? Well, what happens when you dream? You dream huge worlds. Time, space, emotions, people that talk to you, give you messages, languages, everything is there. Everything about the real world, what we call the real world, is also there in our dreams. And whilst we're dreaming it, it is real. We have emotions, we feel pain, everything. We have an identity. We say, well, that's not me, that's somebody talking to me. And whilst it's there, it's reality. Then when we wake up, if we remember the dream, we go, oh, I had a great dream. And all that dream was your mind, a play of your mind. And this is what's happening all the time. We live in the big dream, and then we go to sleep and we sort of surf channels. This is the realization of the self, because time and space are in the dream, or they are what the dream is made of. You can say, yeah, but the universe is so enormous and things. Yes, but well, look, how do you know there's a universe? Our eyes and our senses. Yeah, but have a look. Check it out. This is not new knowledge. This is ancient knowledge going back thousands of years. And there have always been people who have been trying to point this out to humanity. Know thyself. And it changes everything. Of course, it's quite hard as you then interact. You go shopping, you wash, clean your teeth, problems at work, worry about the future. The dream, Einstein said, reality is an illusion, but a very persistent one. That's the thing. It's not easy. But if you're interested in being real, this is what you'll discover. This is what I discovered, and I can't find any fault in my logic and my reason. It's not, that's just the way it is. This ancient knowledge, and what it brings with us is that the I, who I think I am, is the perceiver of this show and the show itself, which includes you, which includes everything. It's like I am dreaming everybody, so everything is me. And the whole thing, I can just sort of live in a kind of unity consciousness with everything. So what is all this greed and emotions and things? What is unity consciousness? Is love. I am you. This is evolution of human being to become more encompassing in their sense of who they are, and more therefore caring. Because if we stay in the materialistic Darwinistic view, as soon as things get a little bit scary, then we all batten down the hatches and try to survive, or we see there are reasons for going to war with the other, the bad guys. Or we shout at our friend, or the person at work, or we hate our boss, or we don't look forward to Monday because we believe Monday is real, because time and space are real, but they're not. And you can prove it to yourself. If you want time to look through it, I suggest, there's many. You could look at the website, read my book, read other books. It's there. And it's liberating and empowering and healing. Thank you very much. Really, I thank you.